Okay, so Game 4 apparently also on Cerulean Fall. I hope I haven't accidentally loaded the wrong game and done Game 3 as... No, haven't. Cadesius here in the bottom left. These guys have just decided to play this map twice. Don't die. No cheese then? What is this? No cheese then? That's rich. You know, didn't you just... didn't you just work a rush in the last game? Right, anyway, what is this? So again with the worker scout for Xeminus, which is very interesting. Notably, I have not seen much scouting from Cadesius, and this feels back to front, because in general, if I'm playing Protoss, I send a worker across the map straight away, you know, drop the pylon, get over, because you need to know if they've gone pull first. You need to know if you know, all the links in the world are about to turn up in your base. Ked, what are you even on about? I don't know what's happening anymore. Yeah, so you know it's the sort of thing. It's the sort of thing a person needs to know. You need to know if you're about to get really cheesed by a load of links. The other way around, though, you know, other than a proxy, it's very hard for Protoss to get up in your fists so ridiculously early that it warrants sending a worker across that soon. Really just scout around the edges of your own base, make sure you're not getting cannon rushed or something like that. You're looking for a pylon, you're looking for a proxy get maybe positioned up here or somewhere like that, possibly even down here, but less likely. Anyway, justice demands retribution. This isn't Hearthstone. Justice does not demand retribution. Yeah, I don't know about that. Is he actually blocking that gap? I'm not so sure. Maybe he is. Maybe, yeah. Is he on hold position? He's not. Okay. Anyway, this is a weird place to build two pylons. I don't quite get it. But anyway, the side core comes down and everything for once looks quite normal. Xeminus has got a pull. He is mining from 2 gas though, and there isn't a hatchery yet. So I say everything looks normal. I lie. It doesn't. You see, the Zealot wasn't on hold, and as a result, this worker has got in. Like this worker literally is just mining these minerals. These oh no! Why kill it? Don't kill it yet. I mean, you didn't need him out desperately, and your side core is now unpowered, as is your gateway. There was no rush to get that Zealot out, was there? GJ? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. So now he's on hold command, but he's not blocking a gap anymore. Why is this? What am I watching? Okay, side core finished, but no warp kit being researched yet. As I said, there it is. 6 links about to pop out. No speed being researched, and significant amount of gas being mined. So the spar goes down. It is just going to be mutas. But you know, note Xeminus, rushing mutas is all well and good, but you cannot possibly afford a flock of mutas off one base. They're too expensive. They're 100. You know, so far in this game, you've mined enough gas for 3 mutas. It's not. It doesn't really cut it. You want a hearty bunch of mutas, so you definitely need to be mining gas from at least 4 geysers to really be able to lean on that T button. Okay, here in, oh look, 2 overlords ripe for the picking, and these should both die, and that is actually a bit annoying for the Zerg player, because he is going to end up supply blocked by this, and you know, 200 minerals is not a small amount. It's also going to slow down production, because after this one pops down, well, he currently can't build anything, and after this one pops, he's forced to build an overlord, so 3 overlords being built to rectify that, and yeah, no need for that. Anyway, the Lings just chilling out here on the door, and I'd like to see them a little bit more active. There's a reasonable number of them. You know, why not have at least 1 or 2 just running around this map on a scouting pattern? You're literally holding Shift and P, and you're just clicking all over the map. It doesn't, I mean, you can try and be clever about the scouting pattern, but to be honest, if you just like arbitrarily click a whole bunch of places, that's still substantially better than nothing. and better still, you think a little bit about where you should go and maybe click around some of these edges so that you would see things like this, and of course, with those lings running about on the map, every chance that they will intercept something as it makes its way across the map in the middle. Yeah, okay, so let's have a quick look at the units tab. There's only 2 stalkers at home that can shoot up. There are 6 mutas on this map though, with 2 more in production. So 2 stalkers is not going to cut it. It looks to me like Cadesius has no idea whatsoever that this is coming. So these zealots are going to have a little wander up into the, I don't know, just to join their mates here, and it looks like he is planning some sort of fairly quick, not devastatingly quick, but a reasonably quick push with charge, possibly supported by a warp prism, because we see the robotics facility in production as well, but it isn't ready yet, and he is going to have such a bad time when these mutas show up. So 2, 4, 6, 8, there are definitely enough to clean out a mineral line, and at present, there's just nothing here. There's nothing here that can deal with this at all. So, you know, Cadesius, you have died here by not scouting, because it would have been reasonably obvious when you saw the early lair that something like this was on its way. It would have been fairly apparent. And there's all sorts of things that you can do against this. There's you know, all you need is a shield battery in the mineral line and a few stalkers, and you kind of negate these mutalisks. So the zealots get up into the men, but unfortunately the mutas are going to be able to gun them down pretty quickly. If I'm Cadesius, I'm maybe just going to try and focus the hatches, I think would be my what I would be tempted by, just so that I can, you know, make sure I get some value out of these zealots, because they are all going to die. So charge finishes up. I don't know about, yeah, killing workers is good. I'd be almost inclined to just try and focus down the hatch. You're not going to get it now, but I think if he had of to begin with, he probably could have. Now, Cadesius could be saved by the fact that Xeminus doesn't yet know. Enjoy the economy. Right, well, let's have a quick look actually at what economy is like for these 2 players. If we look at the income tabs, they're actually pretty similar. Now, Xeminus knows that he's done a lot of damage. Cadesius knows that he's done a lot of damage. Reasonable amounts of workers killed by both, but are these going to see the hatch there? Oh, they see the pylon go down. He sees it. At least I have 2 bases. Yep, but you've just seen this, Xeminus. So does your opponent. And has he built anything? Whoops, wrong thing. What am I even doing? Has he built anything to shoot these? I don't see anything in production. So do I. You did. You know, and that confuses me a bit. Is it just a money thing? I suppose so. Yeah, so the short story here is that this game is over, isn't it? There is simply nothing that can contest these mutas. So Cadesius needed to scout, really. He needed to have some information about what his opponent was up to. No lings showed up to hassle him, and that should be a worrying sign, because you should be thinking that, you know, there's no links here, so what is my opponent saving up for? They're saving up for something. When you saw the lack, this very late expo, you know, instantly you've got to be thinking something should be going on. I mean, typically with a muta build, typically what you do is you crank out a bunch of lings off your first hatchery, you get your expo down. Once you're up onto 4 gases, you transition into the spire. You keep your opponent busy with just an endless stream of lings and lings and lings and lings. The lings don't cost you any gas, so when the spire finishes up, you've got enough gas in the bank to literally just hold down the T button, crank out 8 to 10 mutas straight off the bat, fly across the map and win. So that's not exactly how it went down here, but you know, you don't normally have the bonus of your opponent only having zealots and having nothing that can shoot up, not even a cannon in the mineral line or anything of that ilk. So a little bit painful. Typically against Protoss, this particular build that we've just seen against the standard Protoss probably wouldn't work, because overwhelmingly, if I'm playing Protoss against Zerg, you know, as soon as my subcore finishes, I'm throwing down a Stargate, and I'm going to have Phoenix on the map. I'm going to have Phoenix out and about, killing these, picking off overlords, being obnoxious, getting into my opponent's base, lifting queens, and mutas do not fare well against Phoenix, not one bit. They you know, mutas versus Phoenix is every Protoss player's dream. It's you love to see a flock of mutas when you've got a handful of Phoenix on the map. They outrange them, they can shoot when they're moving, so you just fly along beside the mutas shooting them, and it's bad. It's all bad for the Zerg player. Yeah, so this typically isn't a build that is ever going to work against Protoss, but Cadesius, you had zealots. It had worked previously, to be fair. It had worked extremely well previously, but not on this occasion. Alrighty. So, Xeminus goes through. GG.